Yes, I read chapter 236 too, but let's not forget that throughout the entirety of Jujutsu Kaisen and beyond, there is only one character who has been portrayed as the absolute strongest. We're talking about Gojo Satoru, the pinnacle of Jujutsu, the most perfect sorcerer there was. Jujutsu Kaisen himself. Okay, that last part may have been unnecessary, but there is no denying Gojo's strength. But was he always the strongest? Was he born the strongest? No. Although Gojo won the gene lottery in the sense that he was born with both the limitless and the six eyes, it wasn't until his late teenage years that he truly became capable of making the best of those two inherited techniques. It wasn't until he was 16 years old that he actualized his insane potential, and shortly after, during his 17th year, when he learned how to put infinity on autopilot, he became the strongest. Starting off from the beginning, Gojo was born on December 7th, 1989. His birth alone was enough to shift the balance of power in the world. A bounty was placed on his head, but even as a kid, he was more than enough to intimidate the bounty hunters. When Toji Fushiguro paid him a visit, he was left speechless. It was the first and only time in his life that someone had noticed him standing behind them. Fast forward to the year 2006, Gojo is now a second year at Tokyo Jujutsu High School. Since he is a 16-year-old kid, it only makes sense that he'd be way more carefree than he is as an adult. When he and his best friend Geto are sent to retrieve Meimei and Utahime, he forgets to use a curtain and the entire scene ends up on the news, which could have been a major problem because the Jujutsu Society operates from outside the public eye. Obviously, he and Geto are disciplined by Principal Yaga, who at the time was their teacher. Following this, Gojo is a bit distraught. He didn't really understand why it was so important to hide the Jujutsu Society from normal people, but Geto adds that this is simply to protect them. They start fighting over it until Yaga-sensei stops them himself. He then also reveals that he has a mission for them, the perfect kind of mission. They'll have to escort the star plasma vessel for Master Tenjin. Yaga-sensei explains that although Tenjin is immortal, she still needs a compatible star plasma vessel every 500 years. The time has come for her to fuse with the next vessel, and if it doesn't happen, there's no telling what Tenjin may evolve into. It is also an extremely important mission in the sense that there is a lot of opposition. Some factions do not want Tenjin to fuse because of either religious or political reasons. We're talking about two groups in particular. The first one is the Curse User Group Q, and the second one is the Star Religious Group. However, since Gojo and Geto consider themselves the strongest, they should be able to handle this mission. Gojo wonders why the religious group would be after the Star Plasma Vessel, and Geto explains that it's because they see the vessel as an impurity, and that they want Tenjin to take her true form. Anyways, when they arrive at her place, the Q group is already in action. Not a problem though. Gojo and Geto are able to take care of the soldiers and save the vessel almost effortlessly. The girl's name is Riko Amanai, and she is quite the lively girl. Now that Gojo and Geto are with them, Riko and her maid Misato are safe. But before Riko can be escorted to Tenjin, she has to enjoy her final days. She has to go to school and spend time with her friends one last time, and Tenjin herself orders that. Meanwhile, the Q soldiers may have been wussies, but there is still the Time Vessel Association, the Star Religious Group. In order to assassinate the vessel, they contract a guy named Toji Fushiguro, the infamous sorcerer killer. He will receive 30 million if he can assassinate her, but it's not going to be easy, is it? He'll have to go up against Gojo, of all people, and that's why he decides to take a rather unusual approach. He goes to a dark website and puts a bounty on Riko's head. 30 million yen. Why do that when he hasn't even received that money? It's a trap, a carefully planned trap. Toji knows that no one will be able to defeat Gojo or Geto, and that is what this is all about. Sure enough, two curse users pull up to kill Riko and claim that bounty. One of them is an old guy, while the other is a masked, muscular guy. They both pull up when Riko is at school, which is not cool because she wanted her last day at school to be void of distractions. She didn't even allow Gojo or Geto to be there. Anyways, Geto picks up on the curse users and he engages with the older one. While Gojo goes with Misato to get Riko, he shows up to her music class, gets the attention of every girl with his unspoken riz. Heck, even the teacher tried to sneakily give him her number, but there was no time. Gojo plays it cool, but then he takes her with him. She's understandably upset, but then again, she wouldn't want her friends and classmates to get caught up in all of this either. On one hand, Geto takes care of the old guy, and on the other hand, we have Gojo. He has Riko with him. Then there is Misato. She is the one who has been trying to hold off the masked muscular guy. Well, the guy is tricky because of his clones, but still nothing in front of Gojo's limitless. But in the middle of all of this, Riko gets a message on her phone that Misato has been kidnapped by the Time Vessel Association and taken to Okinawa. Not good. Riko wants her back. And with that, the gang takes a trip to Okinawa. There, they retrieve Misato and chill on the glorious beach until the deadline for the bounty hunting passes. At one point, Geto gets worried because Gojo hasn't released Infinity ever since they came here. He also hasn't slept either. That can't be healthy. And because of that, he's worried. But Gojo reassures him it's all good. Now, considering this was going to be Riko's last trip ever, they enjoyed the hell out of it. It's hard to believe that the story is still Jujutsu Kaisen. That's how wholesome and refreshing it is to see them enjoying the vacation. Eventually, they return, and just when they are all going to enter the bearer, Gojo finally deactivates his curse technique. But right then, at that very moment, Toji shows up out of nowhere and stabs Gojo from behind. It's alright, the wound isn't fatal, but for Gojo to get hurt like that, it was surprising. Like, how the hell did he even get inside the barrier? We see Toji recalling the time he saw Gojo as a child, how he was the only one who was able to notice his presence behind him. But this time was different. Gojo's senses had dulled because he was constantly using his curse technique for the past few days. This in turn allowed Toji enough of an opportunity to land a sneaky. Whatever, big deal. Gojo uses blue on Toji and then tells Geto to go ahead with Riko and Misato while he deals with the guy. Toji, on the other hand, reveals that he was fully intent to kill Gojo with that first attack, but it seems he has gotten rusty. Gojo then tells him that the bounty time has expired, so there's not much of a point of him anyway. But of course it was Toji who orchestrated the entire thing to begin with. It was because the bounty had a timer that when it passed, Gojo relaxed. The fight continues and Gojo realizes what's up with Toji. He has 0 cursed energy and a heavenly restriction that grants him inhumane physical prowess as an exchange for not having cursed energy. Now, Gojo can't properly keep track of Toji, so he uses blue to clear out the area. But then Toji releases a massive swarm of flies to further mess with Gojo's senses. He had come fully prepared. Gojo is preoccupied with the flies for a moment, which causes him to wonder if Toji had already gone after Riko, and so he turns his back. But that's exactly when Toji strikes. He stabs Gojo in the neck with Inverted Spear of Heaven, a weapon that can forcibly stop any curse technique. This renders Infinity useless and allows Toji to butcher Gojo's body. He slashes him all over the body and also stabs him in the leg with a knife. There's no other way to go about it. Toji has won and Gojo is presumably dead. But that can't be true, right? Because, well, when this episode came out, we had already watched the first season. Going back to Geto, there is a heartbreaking, emotional moment where Geto asks Riko if she wants to bail on the merger, and she affirms. Truth be told, she really does want to continue living with everyone else. No problem. Geto extends his hand and tells her that both him and Gojo will take care of it. But before he could take her hand, she is shot in the head and killed off right then and there. It happens instantaneously, and the perpetrator is, of course, Toji. Geto asks him about Gojo, to which he reveals that he killed him. This causes Geto to confront Toji in a fury of rage and tells him to die. During the fight, he learns of Toji's 0 cursed energy and how that effectively makes him an invisible enemy. It also explains how he was able to infiltrate the barrier. But just like how Gojo lost, Geto loses too. Toji doesn't kill him though, because if he does, Geto would definitely haunt him as a vengeful spirit. He walks out of there in all his glory. 2 of the strongest sorcerers alive were single-handedly beaten by him, a man who can't even use Jujutsu. Shameful indeed. Toji picks up Riko's corpse, delivers it to the Time Vessel Association headquarters, claims his money, and leaves because he isn't interested in chit-chatting or small talk. That was it. It was a hard day at work, and he definitely made a lot of money. But as he is on his way back, he's stopped by a certain someone. It's Gojo Satoru. Not only is he alive and fully rejuvenated, he's also delirious. What exactly happened? Well, while he was on the verge of death, Gojo finally understood the true core of cursed energy. He finally figured out how to use the reverse curse technique, and that's how he healed himself. Toji braces himself for round 2, but when the fight starts, Gojo easily dodges his attacks, and also counters him with curse technique reversal red. It sends Toji flying at a destructive pace. When he looks up and meets Gojo's gaze, he experiences an odd sensation, almost as if his body is telling him to not fight, to just not do it. But he shakes it off and tries attacking Gojo with the Inverted Spear of Heaven. As for Gojo, he is indeed delirious. He floats around in the air and apologizes to Riko for not even feeling sad about her death. It's just that for Gojo, everything seems perfect. He quite literally proclaims that, throughout heaven and earth, He alone is the honored one. Toji braces himself for the worst, but what Gojo brings out is something he never could have imagined. It's the hollow technique. Purple. Something only a few people know about, even within the Gojo family. It is an all-powerful attack that rips whatever it hits from existence. Toji realizes that staying here and fighting Gojo was a mistake. He just wanted to kill him. He wanted to kill the strongest sorcerer, but that, in and of itself, became his downfall. Toji loses most of his stomach and torso because of purple. It's over for him. Gojo asks if he has any last words, and after a few seconds, Toji reveals that he has a son who will be sold off to the Zenin clan in 2 to 3 years. He simply tells Gojo to do whatever he wants with the information and passes away. Next, Gojo retrieves Riko's corpse from the Time Vessel Association. Soon, Geto also appears. Gojo asks him if they should just kill all of these people who are clapping frantically around Riko's corpse, but Geto tells him that there is no point, and the non-sorcerers are just ignorant. They are powerless. Gojo wonders if there really needs to be a point before walking out with Riko's corpse, while Geto tells him that it's important for there to be a point. A year passes by, and Gojo has now become able to maintain infinity on autopilot. He can do it 24/7, and thanks to the reverse curse technique, he can also make it so he never gets tired. He has quite literally become invincible. All that's left is for him to learn a domain expansion, but that eventually happens, doesn't it? At some point he learns the Unlimited Void. He's 16 years old when he defeats Toji. He's 17 years old when he learns how to use Infinity on autopilot. And he's 28 years old right now in the anime. Gojo must have learned the domain expansion at any point during the past decade of his life. But for what it's worth, when he defeated Toji, he was already the strongest. Yes, what happened to him in the manga is a shame, and let's keep the spoilers out of the comments section. But when all is said and done, Gojo remains one of the baddest, most intriguing, and likable anime characters of all time. What do you guys think? I'm sure you have a lot to say about this. Go wild in the comments section, and if you want me to recap the hidden pasts of any other characters, feel free to leave any suggestions. Remember to like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you on my next recap.